Hello everybody and welcome. Eric and I are here for another list video, and this is one that we've had planned for a while, but we're finally actually doing. So this is Eric's hype for all of the Arkham campaigns that Eric has not yet played. So we've already finished Dunwich, and you enjoyed Dunwich. I can't speak for you. You enjoyed Dunwich, right?
I love Dunwich.
There's going to be a spoiler discussion with Eric later on once the final episode is out, so stay tuned to that. That'll be coming to the channel. So Dunwich is not in this hype ranking, but every other campaign is, and a lot of people have requested and basically just like, please play all of the campaigns with Eric. And unless one of us just unexpectedly gets crushed by a piano, or Russ, ripped apart by Russ in this very video, that is going to happen. Yeah. That's the plan. That's the plan. So don't worry. We're actually recording. I have my Path to Carcosa deck right here. Yellow sleeves because of Carcosa. Am I right?
I don't have my deck yet.
No. That's what this binder is here for. See, look, I have all the pieces, the dice, the chaos bag. It's a glimpse behind. I'm pulling back my pallid mask and you can see what's behind it. But let's dive in and let's see. So it was pretty simple. I gave what I would call probably the best description tagline for every campaign that I could muster. And Eric rated that out of 10 with also just some vague knowledge of what you know, because Eric knows a lot about the mythos. Eric, honestly, actually probably knows more about me than the mythos in the official format, right?
I actually know more about Justin than I know about the Lovecraftian mythos.
That is,
that's blood type.
I can agree. I know more about Eric than I also know about the Lovecraftian mythos, yeah.
Oh, this cat's gonna fall.
Yeah. All right, so should we dive in with number 7?
My one request is, can we put your descriptions on a comment
so people can
under the video, so people can weigh in.
Sure,
I thought they were great.
I have saved. Yeah. I'm gonna read them as well in this video. I'm gonna read them as well.
Never mind.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read the description and then I'm gonna give the floor to Eric. So oh, there we go. It's changing. Russ, hey.
Oh my god. Okay, we're good.
Yeah. And just have to hold your arms like this for the video. Okay.
Yeah.
So, number 7, the least hyped is The Forgotten Age. So, venture deep into the jungle and try not to anger Yig. Make the choice to work alongside others or venture out on your own in this pulpy adventure through temples and time. So, why did this one get number 7? It actually got a 2 out of 10 for hype rating, which is
got a 2
quite
out of
low.
10.
Yeah.
I am so done with Snake Gods. Mm-hmm. It doesn't even have to come up once in my life for me to be done with it. I hate Yig. I think Yig is the most boring of the Eldritch ones. I hate jungle adventures in Lovecraft. I hate anything that feels anything like the whole Conan the Barbarian Lovecraft connection.
So even then, kind of is pulpy also a word that turns you off? You don't like pulpy? Okay.
I'm down. I'm out on pulp. I like my orange juice with no pulp.
I think the story beats for Forgotten Age probably won't resonate with you, but there are a lot of really fun scenarios in it. It's also the hardest campaign. Ooh. It's the one that most routinely is gonna kick our teeth in when we get to it. We're gonna have to play very well.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so there is some stuff to kind of balance out because what I do actually find with this game is that even when the theme doesn't resonate, the gameplay loop is still so good that it's still enjoyable. So while there's still going to be snake people, Yig is actually not the main topic of the whole campaign, which is really neat. It's not like in it's actually a strange thing about Dunwich. You're actually going to notice a big difference for Carcosa, because we're going to play that one today. Dunwich kind of feels like a monster of the week, right? Where it's just you're fighting a monster on a train. The other campaigns are a lot more cohesive thematically from step 1 to step 2, and then to step 3, 4, all the way to 8. But it kind of has that kind of thing where you can tell there's more of a story, and Yig is kind of just in the background for this one. It's really neat.
That's very fascinating. I also have a question. So in terms of when they were released, how late is The Forgotten Age?
So this is funny. You'll understand some of this. Do you remember when we played Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
And the first box was manageable. The second box was manageable. The third box beat us to death.
That is exactly what I was wondering.
This is the third box.
Makes
So
perfect
Dunwich, Carcosa, and then Forgotten Age came out of... So an example for why Forgotten Age is harder is because every other campaign, the lowest token is -4 on standard. On Forgotten Age, they're like, here's a -5 just for fun. Which, like, you think it does, like, not that big of a difference, but it does actually, like, essentially add another autofill to the cup the majority of the time, which is... a big difference, especially when you've only played 2 campaigns.
Oof.
Yeah. So yeah, it's the third box syndrome. Yeah, just like
I love that. I was hoping.
I think it also actually happened in Marvel Champions too. Their third box was the hardest. I mean, it makes sense, right? You get like some groundwork, and then you're like, okay, let's kill these people. All right, Eric's number 6 on the hype ranking. Do you have anything else to say, or can I move on? All right, we got the Scarlet Keys. Travel the globe seeking to stop a global conspiracy as people, places, and things vanish across the world. Work along or battle against members of an organization who all wield red objects that give them unfathomable powers. So this one got a 4 out of 10. Sorry to, yeah.
I wanted to like this one better. But the sales pitch involves global travel, and I hate that in Lovecraftian games. I want to, ironic given my complaint about the Forgotten Age being in the jungle, but I want to go to one place or one region and really dig deep into it. So the promise that this is going to be some sort of globe-trotting campaign, the moment you say the word globe, I'm just like...
So you can't, like, you like the idea of, like, exploring... like every corner of a location rather than seeing multiple different locales. That makes total sense.
One of the things I loved about Dunwich was that it all felt very local. It all felt like it could be reached by train. It felt like we were slowly going from civilized places down and away into neglected places, and then finally into somewhere completely unknown. And the moment you're like, it's a globe-trotting conspiracy, I'm like, how are you going to thread this? How are you going to make me feel like each location is distinct and meaningful without it just being like, here's a pastiche of Paris? So I'm curious. What
do you feel about, like, because like in Carcosa, halfway through we travel to Paris and then stay there for like the latter half of the campaign.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Is that like globe-trotting to you, or is that like kind of like Dunwich where it's like switching gears to a new location and like spending time at that location? I'm just curious for like the difference for you personally.
Spoiling my rating for the Carcosa campaign later on, but it brought it down a little bit. It was the only thing in the description where I was just like, I don't necessarily know if I'm going to like this part. But hearing that it's only one other location makes me feel a lot better about it.
Yeah. It's in it, and then like kind of like the opposite, because like spoilers for Edge of the Earth, it rates quite high in terms of hype just on the description. Is that because it's all in that one spot? It's just like you don't take the journey where it's like, okay, we're gonna go travel across here. Yeah. There's actually there's a custom campaign called Cyclopean Foundations that I think actually does, because like halfway through you go from Arkham to like Asia, right? But there's one mission where you choose, it's like the whole mission is traveling. So you choose your route, and you choose to either go like the long way, the slow way, the direct way, and you actually stop at different locations on your thing. And I think it's like a good accomplishment in terms of how a global travel can actually be like put into a scenario, so it actually feels like you're traveling, not just reading that you're traveling.
That's amazing. So the one Arkham game, the one global Arkham board game that
Eldritch,
we've played, that one I like because so much of your time is spent just figuring out how to get trains, planes, and automobiles like across the globe. Like it feels like travel is meaningful in that one. So the idea that there would be this entire piece of the campaign that's about traveling, I'm like, that feels like a global travel to me. Yeah.
And I suppose that's also kind of like why Dunwich worked for you as well, because we were literally on a train for one of the scenarios. So it's not just like time passes. Yeah, I think that makes sense. That makes total sense. All right, should we go to the next one?
Yes.
Which was Path to Carcosa with 5 out of 10. Face madness as you investigate the King in Yellow, travel across the world, battling both your conviction and doubt, leading to a final confrontation in Carcosa. I actually did put across the world. I should have said travel to Paris in the description. But yeah, I know you like Haster.
I love
But
Haster.
the world is what brought it down.
The world is 100% what brought it down. I'm so excited for Haster. I'm so excited to explore Carcosa, one of my favorite fictional literary places ever. But then the moment it's like, oh, it's going to be 3 places. You're going to start somewhere. You're going to go somewhere in the world. And then you're going to go to Carcosa. I'm like, give me more Carcosa. Give me 50% Carcosa.
That actually explains why your number 1 is your number 1, because it actually you spend time there. So a cool thing about, like, even though in these earlier ones we only get, I'll be real, you only get 1 scenario actually in Carcosa proper. But this campaign, not to like get hype up, for gameplay wise and like story wise and thematic, is like routinely one of the top rated. It's my personal favorite custom campaign beyond just the theme, even though Haster is my favorite old one, apart from maybe Nyarlathotep is like a number 2, right? Because he's just so fucking cool. Yeah. But a big thing is just that the scenarios are so good in this campaign, apart from like one of them. It's kind of just a little bit clunky, but like all the other ones, there's my favorite scenario in this campaign. There's like one of scenario is like my favorite moment playing. So I hope you see these without me building the hype too high for you. So fingers crossed.
You know, as a viewer on this channel, it's actually something I've often wondered about. I don't know if you've put out a video, but I would love one day to hear about you, Brendan, and Travis comparing the various old ones and how they're depicted in the game in terms of, is it accurate? And then who you like better as a villain in the card game versus who you like better on a lore perspective.
I actually, just on Saturday, because no one came to stream, I actually did a tier list of all the ancient ones. Because I know very little about their actual lore. I just know about like interacting with them in games and other media, right? So we could do that. Travis knows a lot about the lore, so that could be a very fun video. And then Bryn's just like, I like I like Nyarlathotep. But yeah, that's a great idea for a video. All right, next up with number 4 with a 6 out of 10 rating is the Circle Undone. Work alongside the witches or the Silver Twilight Lodge in this adventure are all about the ghosts and curses of Arkham's past. There's also a peculiar flute playing, but don't mind that.
I love the Silver Twilight Lodge, and I think it is incredibly poorly handled so far in the majority of the media that I have seen surrounding it. So I am really excited to play that campaign and see if I'm going to love how the Silver Twilight Lodge is depicted or hate it.
Yeah.
But when the flutes are playing, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Because I know who that is.
Yeah. I'm curious. I'm not going to give you details about the campaign, but what is like your dream Silver Twilight Lodge like narrative interpretation? Like, what are you looking for that hasn't been hit?
I want to see a version of the Silver Twilight Lodge where you become a member of the Silver Twilight Lodge and get to explore that concept of... You see it really good right now in folk horror, in the rise of folk horror. What's that film, The Ritual, where the campers go out and get trapped by an old god. And I want to play in a Silver Twilight Lodge where I am this member of this occult order, and I am slowly lowered into that creepiness and into that sense of mystery, and slowly put out of my depth.
So the Circle Undone, it's the 4th one. It's another very challenging campaign. I don't think it's as hard as the Forgotten Age, but it's hard for different reasons. It also is like the most obtuse one in terms of how it explores the lore, because it's strange. You feel like you're actually just like everyone is talking in rooms next to you, and then they come in and they say, "Hey, how's it going? What's going on?" You know, like it has like this weird aspect to it. However, from Travis, as someone who's really deep into the lore, Travis loves the lore part of the Circle Undone. So I'm curious to see if you maybe pick up on some of that, because I don't. I'm just like, I'm here, I'm having fun. It's probably my least favorite campaign, just because I don't think the scenarios don't work with me, but I know there are people who love the Circle Undone, so I hope you enjoy all of Arkham. So at one point you're not just like, I'm done, and then I'm like, oh no. But Circle Undone, I think I think there's stuff that you're going to enjoy, and especially if you like, you know, the flutes. It also, I think there's one thing that I know that I think that you'll probably dislike about some of them, but I think they handle it very well, which is the idea of fighting ancient ones, right? Because that happens in a lot of these Arkham File games, because they are in their very nature kind of pulpy, right? But The flute guy feels exactly as he should. His scenario is just dread, right? It's just like you feel small and you're kind of just hoping it works out. And it was like, I think that overall, all of the fights, like all like the final encounters with the Ancient Ones, I think all feel good for the most part. But I think that one was like the crowning success.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right, next up, number 3. So we're in the top 3 now with an 8 out of 10 with an 8 out of 10, I got that right, is Edge of the Earth. I like, this is a good tagline here. Embark on a doomed expedition to the Antarctic wastes. Team up with various partners as you seek shelter, climb treacherous peaks, and ultimately into the heart of madness itself.
I mean, it's got everything. I know it's a doomed expedition, so that's exciting. I know we're going to have to meet other expeditions that are equally doomed, and that's exciting. I love snow.
Yeah, man, me too.
I love it.
Yeah, Edge of the Earth, I think you're gonna love one of the scenarios as much as I do. I know like other people like it. I'm not gonna be like, does anyone else like this scenario or is it just me? I don't think I'm that special. But there's one scenario in Edge of the Earth that I absolutely love because it feels like a horror story, right? And I think you're gonna like it too. I think you're gonna like it a lot too. Edge of the Earth is a unique one because it was the first one that was all in one box. So previously it was like Lord of the Rings where there was like a deluxe box and then a bunch of small packs. Edge of the Earth was all in one box. So it actually explores the format a little bit differently. Some people think there are like some growing pains, which I can respect, but I think also like any good designer is going to tell you that there is going to be in experimentation, there's going to be struggles, right? That's just like the inevitable nature of design, right?
Yeah.
But the story and like the cold Arctic wastes, is the whole thing's doomed, is just the vibe on it is just hell yeah. It's really good. It's really good. Yeah. Cool. Anything else you want to say, or is that just you like snow?
I love Hearts of Madness.
Yeah. All right. Now, number 2, with a 9 out of 10, we got the Endsmith Conspiracy. Unravel your past as you explore the ominous city of Endsmith. Deep ones and drowning are always a risk as you work alongside some federal agents to get to the very depths of the ocean.
I love being a fish person. I love Endsmith. It's like my favorite story. Neil Gaiman wrote a bunch of short stories about a werewolf going to Endsmith, and they were my favorite of Neil Gaiman's short stories. I love fish people. I love the box art.
No. I mean, Endsmith is one of my favorites as well, and I think the reason for that was, I think it was Yumi and Mitchell when I got the Endsmith Conspiracy for Arkham Horror 2nd Edition, like the Endsmith expansion, and Mitch just got stuck in the jail, and it was like corrupt, and like I was just like, this is really cool. Yeah. And like me, you also have a fear of water and water monsters.
So much.
And you might get like pulled out of a boat in this scenario in the middle of the ocean, and you'll feel helpless. It's a good one. It's one that I didn't like when I first played it, but it's grown on me, and there's actually some of my like top scenarios in that campaign. It's a good one. So
I absolutely dig being afraid of water. It's like my greatest fear other than falling, and it's so sick to explore.
That was like, I played the game Subnautica, which scared the hell out of me, but it's also, I think, it's in like my top... It's kind of funny how it works, where in my top like 3 games, it's BioShock, Dark Souls, and Subnautica. 2 of them involve being at the bottom of the ocean, and I'm so scared of it. Do you think it's because it taps something inside of me?
I think so.
There was a trailer for a game coming out on Xbox. Might be coming out on other stuff too, but it's a horror game on a oil rig. Yeah, it looks creepy.
That sounds
it looks
good.
like in the middle of the ocean. Yeah, like one of those
chills.
Yeah, it looks good. All right, you astute Dunsparces out there might have realized what campaign is left. Eric's number 1 with an actual 10 out of 10 for hype ranking. Travis would be proud is the Dream Eaters. So, explore the Dreamlands in this 2-part story where both groups travel to unimaginable locales. Spiders, gugs, ghouls, and a masked god do everything they can to ruin your fun.
Dream Quest of Unknown Cadaf is probably the first thing I ever experienced in Lovecraftian writing, and the Dreamlands, I think, were always the best scenarios in the Arkham games that we played before. And the concept of the Dreamlands in Lovecraftian mythology is so unbelievably creepy and beautiful to me. I love this other world that we have never explored. Like, how does it interact with the human world? Why are there humans there? What exactly are dreamers capable of doing, and how do they have access to it? And then Nyarlathotep's written lines in that story, and Nyarlathotep's seeming but uncertain switch from being a protagonist to being an assistant to the protagonist to being an antagonist, but maybe not. Like, I will spend hours, I'm not going to do it now, but I will spend hours debating with other Lovecraft obsessives the meaning behind Nyarlathotep's appearance in that story and what he is saying at the end of the story. And I just love it.
So this is, Travis will always love this one because Travis is also a huge fan of the Dreamlands, and from what I gather, it's pretty close to like a 1-to-1 of the short stories. Like it's really, once again, I don't know for sure, but it's like this one, like, you know how in Magic there's like top down and bottom up? This is like top down. It starts with like, there's like things where it's like you won't notice, but it's kind of on the rails, but it's like really good. It's the second scenario, Search for Cadaf. So this one's also interesting because it's actually, instead of one 8-part campaign, it's 2 4-part campaigns that you switch between. So you're playing 2 investigators each. We're each playing 2 of them when we play this one. And there's interactions between them. Very minor, not to get your hype too high for it. But it's really fun because your decks also get powerful quicker because you're only getting 4 scenarios with them. And the second one in one of the halves is Search for Cadaf, where you get to visit like 5 hotspots in the Dreamlands and just like interact with them like very shortly. It's the one that I always describe as the scenario that I wish was longer so I could spend more time interacting with it. And it also has, I think, one of the coolest things, because there's 2 ancient ones that you like interact with at the end, because one in each story, right? But they're the ones that the encounters feel like video games to me, but like in the best way. It's like they were able to mechanically make them feel unique, and they actually feel like boss battles. And like it's one of the things where kind of like it makes sense like why you're able to interact with them the way, even though they're still ancient ones. I think it's really cool.
I love that.
All right, we did it. So, I mean, it's going to be a while until we get to some of the ones you're really hyped about. They're literally like we have to get through some of the ones you're feeling a little bit less hot on before we get there. But
that's all right. I'll do my millionaire run in the jungle.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Preston. Could you imagine?
Preston. I'm gonna put Preston in the jungle.
Just so you can bomb it. You're like, I don't want to get to the end, but yeah. And then there's also the juiciest part is there is a bunch of amazing fan campaigns too. There's one that's like, I think you're gonna love. It's called Dark Matter, where it's Haster, but in space. It's really cool. It's really neat. But you can't play those ones until you play some official ones, because like they're good, but I think oddly enough they're gonna be like not less appreciated, but like you'll get more out of it after you've played some of the official ones.
Yeah, after I understand what they're building off of.
Exactly, yeah. All right, well, that is it for this list video. If you want to know if you have any suggestions for list videos in the future for Eric and I to cover, please let me know down in the comments. If you want to see Eric talk about ancient ones, let me know. We can do that too. I can learn from Eric, because all I know is, once again, about Arkham Horror and Arkham Files, and if they show up in other properties as well. You know, that's all I know. I just don't like, I don't know. H.P. Lovecraft's writing doesn't move my needle. It doesn't move the needle for me.
Doesn't move my needle. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. But thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one, and as always, GG's.